Students, welcome to Crash King online classes. In the previous class, we have studied about lightning. In this session, we shall study about one more natural phenomenon, that is earthquake. Earthquake. What is earthquake? Earthquake. So what is earthquake? Earthquake is sudden shaking of Earth's crust. Sudden shaking of Earth's crust which will last for a very short time. That is called as earthquake. So usually the shaking of Earth's crust takes place due to the disturbance in the deep inside the Earth. Disturbance which is produced deep inside the Earth which leads to earthquake. To study, usually we cannot say when this earthquake occurs and where it occurs, but we can say why earthquake occur. What is the cause for this earthquake? To understand the cause for earthquake, we have to study the structure of Earth. This Earth is divided into mainly three layers. They are: outside layer is called crust, then next layer it is called as mantle, and one more layer which is present inside, that is called as core. Here innermost layer is inner core and outside of that inner core is outer core. So whole structure of Earth is divided into three layers. They are crust, mantle and core. This crust, as you can see here, the outermost layer of the Earth is called as crust. So which is the outermost layer? Outermost layer of the Earth is called as Earth's crust or the crust. Usually this outermost layer, it is not in one piece. This crust is fragmented. It comes in the crust which is present, that is the outermost layer of the Earth, is fragmented. So this each fragment we call it as plate. Plate. In the sense fragment. So outermost layer of the Earth, that is called crust. This crust is not in a single piece. It is fragmented. So each fragment is called as plate. But these plates are not in constant. They are in continual motion. These plates move continuously. Plates, that is the fragments, they move continuously. So when the two plates come into contact with each other, when they collide with each other, that is due to the brushing of the plates, one plate goes under another, which leads to disturbance in the Earth's crust. We call it as earthquake. Disturbance produced in the Earth crust, that is called as earthquake. This is due to when plates collide with each other, when they come into contact with each other. Usually when they brush with each other, one plate goes under another, so which leads to the disturbance in the outermost layer of the Earth, that is the crust, which we call as earthquake. So earthquake is nothing but it is the shaking of the Earth's crust, that is the outermost layer of the Earth. Sudden shaking of Earth's crust which lasts for a very short time. It is called as earthquake. Usually, as I said, earthquake is mainly due to the disturbance produced. Disturbance because of these plates, they move continuously. So when they move continuously, when one plate goes under another, which leads to the disturbance. So the disturbance produced deep inside the Earth, because of that earthquake occurs. As I said already, it is not predicted. We cannot say when this earthquake occurs and where it occurs. But usually this earthquake occurs usually the places, that is the Earth crust, where weak zones are present. So as I said, earthquake occur due to the movement of the plates. The boundaries of these plates are weak zones. So boundaries of the plates, boundaries of these plates are weak zones where earthquake frequently. So these weak zones we call as seismic zones or fault zones. Seismic zones. Seismic zones or the fault zones, they are nothing but weak zones of the plates. Boundaries of the plates, they are called as weak zones where these earthquakes occur more frequently. These are called as seismic zones or the fault zones where earthquakes occur more frequently. In India, the places where earthquakes occur more frequently are, it is the Kashmir and also central as well as western Himalayan region. When you come to there are some places in the South India also, there are some places where earthquakes occur more frequently. Usually, the power of the earthquake is measured using a unit, using a scale. The power of the earthquake, the magnitude of the power of the earthquake is measured using a scale which is called as Richter scale. Richter scale. So Richter scale is a device using which power of an earthquake can be measured. Power of an earthquake is measured using a scale. It gives the magnitude, it gives the number, it gives the value. Using a scale, it is called as Richter scale. In this Richter scale, the value, if it is more than 7, the value which indicates more than 7, that is earthquake is more destructive. It causes more, it destroys the buildings or houses or other property. If the value is more than 7, which means that earthquake is destructive one. Earthquakes are caused due to the movement of the plates. So boundaries of these plates are weak zones. Weak zones. Where earthquakes occur more frequently. Most of the time earthquake takes place. So these weak zones, weak zones are nothing but they are the boundaries of the plates where earthquake occur more frequently. So these weak zones are called as seismic zones or the fault zones. Seismic zones or the fault zones. Where earthquakes occur most of the time, earthquakes occur more frequently. They are called as seismic zones or the fault zones. The places in India where earthquakes occur more frequently are some of the places: Kashmir, central and western Himalayan region, central and western Himalayas, Kutch of Ran of Kutch, and some places of South India, Rajasthan. The places where earthquakes occur more frequently, some places are Kashmir, western and central Himalayan region, Rajasthan, Ran of Kutch, and some places of South India. Usually, this earthquake, the power of an earthquake is measured using the scale. That scale we call as Richter scale. Richter scale. Richter scale is a device using which the power of an earthquake can be measured. In this Richter scale, the value, if it is more than 7, if it is greater than 7, the value more than 7 or the value greater than 7, which shows that earthquake is destructive one. The earthquake is more destructive if the value in the Richter scale is more than 7. As why this earthquake causes? What is the reason for the earthquake? Mainly due to the disturbance which is present. Disturbance takes place deep inside the earth. But we cannot predict where earthquake occur and when earthquake occur. Therefore, we have to take some precautionary measures. Usually, the people who live in seismic zones, who live in these seismic zones or the fault zones, they have to take some precautionary measures while constructing the buildings or constructing houses. So, what precautionary measures they have to take? Usually, the people those who live in seismic zones, for the construction purpose, they have to consult a proper architecture. They should construct, they have to consult for the construction of the buildings as well as houses. Usually, for the construction purpose, it may be house or it may be buildings, the heavy materials they should not use. Instead of using heavy materials, they can use mud or the timber for the roof. Because due to this earthquake, these heavy material they may fall, so which causes destruction. Therefore, they have to use for the roof, they have to use light material, the material which is as light as possible. Light materials should be used for the construction purpose, so that which leads to less destruction, less damage. Second precautionary measures, usually the people those who live in this area, the walls, usually the cupboard or the wardrobes, we should not keep on the floor. Instead of, they should be fixed on the wall, so that during the time of earthquake they do not fall. Cupboard as well as wardrobes should be fixed on the wall. And also these wall clock, photo frames, heavy materials, they should be fixed properly on the wall, so that they do not fall during the time of earthquake. And also, sometime during this earthquake, there may be fire accident. Building may catch fire. So, there should be firefighting, some devices should be there in the building as well as houses. So, when during the time of earthquake, if we are inside the home, if we are inside the house, what are the precautionary measures we have to take? If we are inside a home or if we are inside the building, during the time of earthquake, we should not come out of the house. We have to take shelter under a table. Shelter, if we are inside the house, we have to take shelter under a table, and we should not come outside till this earthquake stops, till this shaking stops. We should not come outside, and we should be away from the heavy material like the wardrobe or something. From these heavy things, we have to be away from these things. If we are in bed, we should not come, we should not get out, we should not get up. Instead of that, we have to protect our head using a pillow. If we are inside the home or if we are inside the house, the precautionary measures we have to take. We have to take shelter under a table, and we should not come outside till this shaking stops. We should not go near the heavy material. It may be any heavy things. We should not sit under these heavy materials. And also, if we are in bed, we should not get up. Instead of that, we have to protect our head using the pillow. Now, suppose we are out from the house. If we are out of a building or if we are outside. So, what are the precautionary measures we have to take? If we are outside the house or the home, if we are in a vehicle, we should not come outside the vehicle. We have to sit inside the vehicle, and also we have to take our vehicle to a safe place. We should be away from the long trees, bigger trees. Don't go near these long trees. We should be away from these trees. We should be away from the electrical lines, electrical poles or some heavy things. We should be away from that. So, by using these precautionary measures, we can protect ourselves from this earthquake, so that the damage can be minimized. As I said, we cannot say when earthquake occur and where earthquake occur. So to protect ourselves, we have to say some of the precautionary measures. Students, will move to the next lesson of physics, that is light. As we know, without light we cannot lead our life. So light is a very important part in our life. It is very important to identify the object. So if light is present and if our eyes are proper, we can identify the object. So how objects can be identified? When the light falls on the object, that light which falls on the object, it gets reflected. Lights come back and these reflected rays form into our eyes and which forms an image on the retina. There is a part inside our eyes that is called retina. So image is formed on the retina of the eyes so that we can identify the object. So to identify any object, the light has to fall on that object and that light should be reflected. So that is reflection. So reflection of light, reflected. Reflection of light is very important for the identification of any object. Now the question, what is reflection of light? What do you mean by reflection? You have studied about this reflection in your earlier classes. Reflection means what? Using a mirror we can make light to reflect. So what is reflection? Reflection in the sense, when light falls on a surface, this light bounces back. Light gets reflected. Light which falls on a surface, it gets reflected, it comes back. That phenomenon is called as reflection of light. Bouncing back of the light from a rigid surface is called as reflection of light. So here the light which falls on the surface, this ray of light we call as incident ray. It is called incident ray. The light which falls on the surface, that is called incident light or incident ray. And the light which gets reflected, which comes back, that ray of light is called as reflected ray. Reflected ray. Ray of reflection. It is called ray of reflection or reflected light or reflected ray. So incident ray is the light which falls on the rigid surface, which falls on a surface, any surface, and the light which gets reflected, we call it as reflected ray. For the study purpose, we draw at this point, that is the point of incident, the light which falls on this surface at a point. That point is called point of incidence, and at this point we draw a perpendicular line, straight line, perpendicular line at the point of incidence. And this light is called as, this ray is called as normal ray. There is no any normal ray. Usually for the study purpose we are drawing this perpendicular line, that is called as normal ray. The light which falls on the surface is called as incident ray. Light which gets reflected, that is called as reflected ray, and the perpendicular line, perpendicular ray which is drawn at the point of incidence is called as incident ray. So reflected ray, incident ray and normal ray. These are the three rays which is mainly used to study laws of reflection. So before studying laws of reflection, we'll study two types of reflection. There are two types of reflection. Which are the two types of reflection? There are two types of reflection. Two types of reflection. They are, first one is regular reflection. Second one is irregular reflection. Irregular, or it is also called diffused reflection. There are two types of reflection, regular reflection and diffused or irregular reflection. So what is this regular reflection? When the light falls on a smooth surface, smooth polished surface. So this is the incident light. Light which falls on the smooth surface. Like a plain mirror. When the light falls on a smooth polished surface, it gets reflected, and these reflected rays, how they look? These reflected rays, you can see here, the light which falls on the smooth polished surface, they get reflected, and these reflected rays are parallel to each other. These reflected rays are parallel to each other. Such a type of reflection is called as regular reflection. In regular reflection, reflected rays are parallel to each other. Parallel to each other. When the light falls on a smooth polished surface, the rays which gets reflected, which are parallel to each other. Such a type of reflection is called as regular reflection. Now come to the second type of reflection, that is diffused or irregular reflection. Suppose if the light falls on a rough surface, when the light falls on rough surface, these are the incident rays. If the light falls on a rough surface, these rays gets reflected, but there is no any pattern for this reflection of light. They gets reflected. The reflected rays, they gets the light which falls on this rough surface. They also get reflected. But what type of reflection? These reflected rays, they are not parallel to each other. Reflected rays are not parallel, or they are not parallel to each other. Such a type of reflection we call as irregular or diffused reflection. When the light falls on a rough surface, irregular reflection takes place when light falls on rough surface. Regular reflection takes place when light falls on a smooth polished surface. As I said, the image can be obtained. We get the image due to the reflection of light. So when the light falls on anything, it gets reflected and image is formed on the retina of our eyes. So image is formed due to the reflection of light. But whether which reflection forms image, either regular or irregular reflection, only regular reflection. If the reflection is regular, then image is formed. We can get the image only in the regular reflection. But irregular reflection, image is not formed. We cannot get any image. Image is not formed in the case of irregular reflection. Regular reflection, when the light falls on a smooth polished surface, the reflected rays are parallel to each other. Such a type of reflection is called as regular reflection, which forms image. Irregular, when light falls on a rigid surface, when light falls on a rough surface, the reflected rays are not parallel to each other, and also in this case image is not formed. Such type of reflection is called as irregular reflection. So as I said, when the light falls on a surface, the light which falls on the surface is called incident ray, and light which gets reflected, that is reflected ray, and at this point, at the point of incidence, we draw a perpendicular line that is called as normal ray. And you can see here, between this normal ray and the incident ray, normal ray, you can see, we can form an and it is represented as I. So what is this I? This I is called angle of incidence. Angle of incidence. Incidence. What is angle of incidence? This angle. Angle between normal ray. What is normal ray? Normal ray is the perpendicular line, straight line which is drawn at the point of incidence. The angle between this normal ray and incidence ray. This angle is called as angle of incidence. An angle which is formed between, the angle formed between incident ray and the reflected ray, that is represented as R. What is R? R is called angle of reflection. Angle of reflection. So angle of incidence is the angle between incident ray and the normal ray. Angle of reflection is the angle between incident ray and the reflected ray. Reflected ray, incident ray. The angle is formed is called as angle of reflection. So based on this, we can say some of the laws. Some is there are two laws of reflection. So reflection follows two laws. They are called laws of reflection. Laws of reflection. What are the laws of reflection? First law of reflection. First law of reflection can be stated as this angle. Which angle that? Angle of incidence I. Angle I, which is always equal to angle R. So first law of reflection can be stated as, for the reflection, angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Suppose angle of incidence in a given experiment, if the angle of incidence is 30 degree, what will be the angle of reflection? Angle of reflection is also 30 degree. If the angle of incidence is 60 degree, angle of reflection is also 60 degree. Always angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. And second law can be stated as incident ray. Incident ray. Incident ray. What is incident ray? The ray which falls on the surface. This ray is the ray which is incident, which falls, that is incident ray. Reflected ray, second ray is reflected ray, and the third ray and the normal, which is drawn at the point of incidence. Normal drawn at the point of incidence, which is called as normal ray. They all lie on the same plane. Same plane. They lie on the same plane. Incident ray, reflected ray, and normal ray. All the three rays lie on the same plane. These are called laws of reflection. Very important question. State laws of reflection. Angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. First law. Second law, you have to write in sentence this, not writing I and R. During the reflection, angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. And second law, incident ray, reflected ray and normal ray, they all lie on the same plane. These are called laws of reflection. So what is reflection? when the light falls on the surface, it gets reflected, it bounces back. Bouncing back of the light from a surface is called as reflection of light. There are two types of reflection. Which are two types of reflection? Regular reflection and irregular reflection. What is regular reflection? When the light falls on a smooth polished surface, the reflected ray, the rays gets reflected or the light gets reflected, and these reflected rays are parallel to each other. Such type of reflection we call as regular reflection. And second one is irregular or diffused reflection. When the light falls on a rough surface, the rays which get reflected, they are not parallel to each other. Such type of reflection is called as diffused reflection. So, in this reflection, if you represent a reflection of light, we can see here incident ray, reflected ray, and here we are drawing one perpendicular line that is called as normal ray. Usually, the angle which is formed between this incident light, incident ray and the normal ray is called as angle of incidence, which can be represented using the letter I, small letter I. The angle which is formed between the reflected ray and the normal ray, which can be represented using the letter R, that is called angle of reflection. So, there are two laws of reflection. Which are two laws of reflection? First law can be stated as during the reflection, angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. Second law can be stated as incident ray, reflected ray and the normal ray, they all lie on the same plane.